That's what we do at Dent Research. I just say, look, we do a lot of unique things, but the biggest thing about us, we just look at reality and tell the truth. Growth is exponential, but it's also cyclical. And when you get bubbles, they burst and they go back to where they started or lower. And everybody has, again, a million reasons why this isn't a bubble and governments won't let it happen. As I said before, when governments get involved, like in Dubai, I was in Dubai in late 2006 and 2007, speaking at international conferences there. And I said, this is a worse bubble than Miami and California. It's going to burst. And everybody said, no, the government won't let it. I'm like, now you're really in trouble. The next year, first drop in Dubai was 40% in 1 year in real estate. And real estate doesn't crash nearly as much as stocks. So just wake up, listen to the people who are telling the truth here, because this is serious. This is not another 20% or 30% correction, or even a 40 or 50% that we're going to see new highs. My prediction, very clearly in the book, that this bubble really would have peaked naturally in late 2007. It has been extended one more time. When it crashes the next time, we're not going to get back to 17,000 on the Dow. You'd be lucky to get 10,000 on the Dow after we go to 3, 4, 5, 6,000. And we will not turn around for a long time. So the key is to preserve what you have. If you have a good job, then kiss your boss's ass and keep it. Maybe start something on the side, make money on the side. There's many ways to do it. But don't leave your job. Here, if you've got assets that have bubbled up in real estate or stocks, take those gains and lock them in and be safe. And then when we get another crash, which we will, because we've had one every 6, 7 years like a clock, then you buy stuff at 20, 30 cents on the dollar. And that's how you make money.
Sure.
You don't make money by buying and holding stocks in this era.
And that's all common sense. And what I don't get is if people just want to buy in early in a bubble and they know it's a bubble, then fine, that's your issue. It's that people, most of them, worship the bubble. They allow it to become totally irrational, and then they get mad when you're right and it pops and is so destructive. I mean, look,
they get mad at me just for predicting it's a bubble. People act like you're crazy. How could you be saying this? And I'm like, we've already seen 2 bubbles burst in stocks alone in the United States in the last decade, not to count every other bubble, and gold.
And each one's getting worse, I notice. I mean, undoubtedly, 2008 was worse than 2001. How bad's the next bubble going to be?
It's always going to be worse. Again, we're saying just in the first decline, in the next couple of years, the Dow is going to go from around 17,000 to at least 6,000. That's a 65% decline, much worse than the last crash. Ultimately, I think the Dow is going to go to 3,000 to 4,000, maybe lower by 2020. We're talking about, and this is typical of depressions and that follow debt bubbles and bubbles crashing. Stock markets go down about 80%. They went down 89% in the Great Depression, 82% in the Japan crash in the 90s and in the early 2000s. This is typical, and people just act like, well, that happened.
I know, it's crazy
in history, but that can't happen to us. Not to the United States, or not in this new world. No, it's even worse. Our governments are making, I can't even compare this bubble to the Roaring 20s bubble or the 1870s bubble or the 1830s bubbles in the past, because governments have pushed them and we have been able to borrow so much more money. And like you say, on top of all that, geopolitically, we have nuclear weapons now.
In closing, let's say a good scenario, the bubble pops, but it's not that drastic. Let's say it's like 2008 or something. They'll just try something new. But if things really break down, a lot of people are already on the edge of bankruptcy. I mean, the economy in reality is really bad, in my view. I don't think we ever really had a recovery.
Yeah, 80% of people in surveys say, we never had a recovery. The top 20%, the more affluent with college degrees, low unemployment, and who own most of these financial assets, quantitative easing actually did not help the everyday person much. It helped the affluent people and kept the bubble going, and that's their only strategy. They said, look, we created this bubble. Now we have to keep it going forever. That's like keeping an orgasm going forever. I don't know if anybody out there can do it. I can't do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying is they're creating a total two-party system where the establishment, it's all protected, its investments are protected, and then as the real economy dies, it's creating like a new dark age or something. How bad could the collapse get?
Well, we had 25% unemployment. Right now, if you count the people who've left the workforce and just given up working, it's really at 11 to 12%. It'll probably double that. Right now, the official unemployment rate, 7% or so. It'll probably end up at 15%, but it's really going to be more like that 25%. A lot of businesses are going to go under. A lot of banks are going to go under. That's good in a lot of ways because businesses get more efficient and consolidate. A lot of debt gets written off. The best thing that could happen to the average family is get their mortgage written back down to what their damn house is worth.
Exactly.
That's what government should have required. Give the benefits to the everyday household. Instead, they gave the money to the banks. Quantitative easing went to the banks to keep them alive when they should have gone under, and the average person should have gotten mortgage relief.
Exactly, and people don't understand that simple fact that you've got to have that jubilee sometime. Instead, they give the gamblers at the hedge funds and everybody
exactly
total carte blanche.
They give the hen house to the wolves is what they did. The people who created the bubble are getting all the benefits because they can't afford the bubble to burst. So, you know, that's clear to me. I think this is going to be clear in the future. The key difference is I think the stimulus is failing. Our real estate recovery is failing because it wasn't real. China is showing real cracks, and I'm monitoring China weekly. The sunspot cycle looks like it actually finally peaked later than usual in February, so that means a crash sooner than later. And I just advise people, keep in touch with us. We're telling the truth. We got a free newsletter at harrydent.com. We have other newsletters.
Awesome. Harry, thank you so much. Folks should get it. Thank you. I want you back soon. We'll be right back. Final segment. Look at this story from the Washington Examiner. It's up on Infowars.com, and DrudgeReport.com also has it. Jay Carney, Joe Biden's son, accepted position with the Ukrainian gas company as private citizen. And his dad does not endorse it. I mean, this is just so outrageous that the globalists are involved overthrowing Ukraine, and then they would put his son in as one of the top executives to rake in just unbelievable amounts of money. And then they criticize Putin for being involved in the government investments. Yeah, it's wrong. And it's just openly done. And now we just accept the governing class will own the state-controlled blocks and make billions of dollars and just laugh at us. And that's not an economy based on products. It's not, or on innovation. It's based on Joe Biden's smiley-faced son. I mean, I look at him and he makes me sick. And communism doesn't exist, folks. It's just a thug system where you tell the general public, oh, you're going to share all the things and we're going to get the rich people. And they go rob the nouveau riche. They go rob the real producers, who I'm sure aren't perfect in most countries. And they replace it with something 100 times worse. You know, just because they're replacing something doesn't mean it's great. Look at all this other news I've got. Intensive mobile phone users are at higher risk of brain cancer, study finds. People who use mobile phones, London Guardian, intensely appear to have higher risk of developing certain types of brain cancer. Well, let's give kids cell phones. French scientists have said, reviving questions about phone safety. They always say there's questions. They knew 30 years ago in rat studies. It's a microwave system. And up against your head, it says on the contract, hold it back 6 inches. Don't put it up against your head. The radiation loses its power for however long the antenna is, every length out from that. So move it around, fry different parts of your body. It's certainly not good for you, but you put it right up against your head, folks. It's a microwave oven. It vibrates the cells and breaks the DNA on record. On record. On record! And I see my dad, my mom, everybody on cell phones with up their head. I do it myself. I forget the hands-free and don't do it. No more! No more. Do not have a cell phone up against your head. Do not give them to children. It really attacks fast-growing cells. I've talked to medical doctors. Brain cancers are just off the chart, right up against where you hold the phone. The doctor will say, which side do you hold the phone up to? Your right side? And yeah, you got a brain tumor right there. And we never used to see these. We see them all the time. I mean, again, I'm not trying to give you bad news. It's good news to know that it's killing you. I got a bunch of other news I haven't gotten to, so I'll have to do some overdrive here. It's just too important. So that's going to be coming up. Briefly, you know, we have these great guests on and support what they're doing. We have all these different people on. We need your support. You can see the nightly news. We're going to be launching the new studio next week, so that's done. Next Monday, new studio, done. We're launching it. I mean, it's about a year behind because of me. I've had so much stuff going on. The crew's done a great job. PrisonPlanet.tv, $5.95 a month. You can get 3 months free when you sign up for a year. 11 people can use your username passcode to log in and watch the nightly news as an archive each day. It goes up after it airs live or after it tapes to air. PrisonPlanet.tv, fund the very tip of the spear in free speech. Please become a member today and share your membership. And thank you for becoming members. We're getting a lot of new members. We are getting a lot of new support, and that's helping us continue our operation and try to expand it. So thank you so much. We're adding reporters like Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs and everybody else. And finally, don't forget mypatriotsupply.com/Alex for the best storable foods out there. You're crazy if you don't have them. Get prepared. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex. They have great customer service. Overdrive is coming up at Infowars.com/show.
GCNlive.com today.
Nightly News tonight, 7. Stay with us.
A chemical spill contaminating the water supply in 9 West Virginia counties.
This year alone, over 300,000 people in West Virginia had their drinking water contaminated.
What are the health effects of having these drugs in our drinking water?
It's forced medical treatment without the consent of residents.
My friends, water filtration is one of the most basic actions you can take to protect you and your family from the harmful toxins and heavy metals in your tap water.
On average, the county says it sprays with the glyphosate at least once a week.
Few filters cut out the glyphosate that is found in water supplies worldwide. Remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, hydrofluorosilicic acid, sodium hexafluorosilicate.
Fluoride, it is in tea, it's in coffee, it's in water, it's in bread, it's in toothpaste.
It is our responsibility to protect our families. The establishment's not going to do it. It's time to take action. It's time to filter our water. Visit InfoWarsStore.com and use promo code WATER to get 10% off their entire family of incredible products. Or call toll-free 888-253-3139.